Mail-order bride lost alone until this little girl's shocking plea changed everything forever. The wind howled like a dying animal as Elena stared down the empty street, her heart pounding like a drum in the silence of night. She was a lost soul in a foreign land, miles away from the love she had hoped for and the life she had dreamed about. The shadows cast by flickering streetlights danced eerily, whispering secrets of heartache and desperation. Just weeks ago, she was filled with hope, eager for her new beginning, but now, reality bore down on her like a heavy fog, making it hard to breathe. Every shop window reflected her solitude, displaying the shambles of her heart, a bright open sign shining through a crack in her spirit. A stray cat cried nearby, adding to her torment, as if the world itself lamented her plight. Alone in this unfamiliar city, no one knew her name or her story, but she felt them watching, judging. The first truly strange thing happened that evening. As she wandered aimlessly, the sound of laughter floated from a nearby park. Curious, she approached and was met with the sight of a small girl, no more than 6, clutching a bright red balloon. The girl's eyes sparkled with mischief and innocence. But it wasn't her playful giggles that tugged at Elena's heart, it was the heart-stopping intensity with which the girl locked eyes with her. In that moment, it felt like a thread connected them, as though the girl could see deep into her soul, and Elena shivered, sensing that this encounter was anything but ordinary. Just as quick as it began, the laughter cut off, replaced by a silence so palpable that it sent chills down Elena's spine. In a heartbeat, the little girl broke free from her friends, her small legs carrying her like arrows shot against the wind. She stopped mere inches from Elena, the balloon bobbing between them, and there it was, that pleading gaze that seemed to hold the weight of the world. You look sad," the girl said, her voice sounding like a bell ringing in the stillness. "Help me, please." Elena's chest tightened. Why would this girl need her help? She felt a lump form in her throat, it was the purest call for connection she had ever received. She blinked hard, fighting back tears. "What do you need?" Before she could get a full answer, the girl reached up and tugged gently on Elena's sleeve, urgency flashing in her innocent features. "You have to follow me. It's important. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Elena hesitated. What had this little girl seen? The tension of the moment pressed down on her like a lead weight. Her instincts screamed to run, yet she felt a desperate hope flickering within her, a spark of connection fighting through the darkness of her loneliness. "Okay," she whispered, unsure of what lay ahead, her heart racing in her chest. "Lead the way." The girl turned and bolted down the dimly lit path, her laughter returning, sweeter and more haunting than before. Elena followed, her pulse quickening with each hurried step. Little did she know, the night was harboring secrets darker than she ever could have imagined as they dashed toward the edge of the park, past the hedge that seemed to whisper their names, and into the unknown. What awaited them was a mystery far bigger than either of them could ever grasp. Elena chased after the girl, her breath coming in quick, sharp bursts. The darkness enveloped them like a thick blanket, smothering the distant sounds of the city. She strained to keep up, the little girl darting through the trees with a nimbleness that surprised her. Thoughts of danger curled at the edges of her mind. What if this girl was leading her into a trap? But the girl glanced back, her eyes shimmering with an innocence that should have calmed Elena's fears, yet heightened them instead. "Hurry!" she urged, her voice ringing with excitement that contrasted sharply with Elena's racing heart. As they crossed the park's boundary into a secluded area, the girl suddenly stopped in front of an old oak tree, its gnarled branches twisting towards the sky like fingers reaching out for salvation. It stood firm and imposing, the kind of tree that seemed as ancient as time itself. The girl pointed at the trunk, her breath labored from the sprint. It's here! She exclaimed, her little chest rising and falling rapidly. We have to find it. Elena's gaze followed the girl's finger. What was she supposed to find? A knot of unease coiled tighter in her stomach. Find what? She asked, thick confusion lacing her words. The treasure. The girl breathed, her eyes sparkling, mischief dancing within them. The one that can help you. Elena's heart dropped. Treasure. Was this a game to the girl or something more serious? She knelt beside the girl, searching her face for answers. What treasure? What do you mean? The little girl hesitated, her playful demeanor faltering. The treasure that's not gold but magic. It can make everything okay. Elena's heart ached at the innocent hope radiating from the girl. It was a bizarre notion, stranger still in this darkened park, but the thought of finding something magical stirred a longing deep within her. Show me, she urged, trying to believe. With a flicker of renewed energy, the girl knelt next to the towering oak, her tiny hands brushing against the rough bark, as if searching for hidden secrets. She pressed her ear to the wood, her expression intense. It's here. I can feel it. Elena watched, her heart racing as the girl began to move around the tree, her fingers grazing the trunk as though she were tracing a map only she could see. The air grew thick with anticipation, a sensation that clung to Elena's skin, thrilling and terrifying all at once. Suddenly, the girl gasped, a spark of excitement lighting up her face. Here. Help me. She dug at the base of the tree, pulling away damp earth and stones. Elena knelt beside her, the urgency of the moment kicking in. They both worked together, hands scrambling, dirt flying until they uncovered a small, weathered box, the edges frayed, the wood damp from the rain. Open it. The girl squealed, her eyes wide as she radiated pure joy. Elena's hands shook as she lifted the lid. Inside lay an assortment of trinkets, old photographs, a broken necklace, what looked like a faded letter. Yet among the remnants of forgotten lives, there was something darker, something that sent a chill racing down her spine, a small doll with glassy eyes that seemed to follow her, its smile too wide and ominous. What is this? Elena whispered, trying to keep the unease from her voice. Magic. The girl shouted, beaming, but there was an unsettling twitch in her smile, a flicker of something not right. It's our treasure. The chill deepened, creeping into Elena's bones as shadows shifted around them. No, she started, clutching the box tightly as realization began to dawn. This isn't right, please, help me. The girl's tone turned serious, a sharp contrast to her earlier lightness, her gaze now fierce and demanding. You have to help me. A chill of fear prickled at the nape of Elena's neck as the world around them began to grow darker, more suffocating. What kind of help was this child truly asking for? As time suspended, Elena felt the heavy clouds of uncertainty gathering around them. Was she caught in a whirlwind of magic, or something much darker? She looked into the girl's eyes once more, searching for answers that slipped further away. There was more to this treasure. More than she had ever signed up for, and yet, she had already fallen down this rabbit hole. She took a deep breath, ready for whatever came next, knowing she needed to make a choice that could change everything. What was she willing to sacrifice to uncover the truth? Elena's heart pounded as she stared at the little girl, whose innocent smile felt like a mask hiding something sinister. What do you need help with? She asked, her voice tremulous. The girl's eyes darkened, and her playful demeanor vanished, replaced by a determination that felt ancient. I'm stuck. It's been so long, I can feel it, but I can't free myself. Only you can help me get what I need. Elena suddenly felt cold, as chilled as the damp earth beneath her fingers. What do you need? She pressed, her breath hitching. It wasn't just the girl's words, but the weight of her gaze that set off alarm bells. The girl nodded toward the box. The doll, it has the magic, but it's hidden. If you help me, it will help you, too. Elena unclenched her fists, willing herself to act despite the fear flooding her veins. Okay. We'll find it together. But you need to tell me everything. A flicker of relief crossed the girl's face as she nodded eagerly, the innocence returning like a quick flash of sunlight after a rainstorm. It's south buried somewhere close underneath the roots. It can do big things. It can make you whole again. Whole. Elena's mind swirled back to her own life, the pieces that felt shattered after leaving everything behind. I need to know what it does. It makes wishes come true. The girl exclaimed, her voice melodic and haunting. But you must be careful. Not all wishes are good. Elena felt a shiver dance up her spine at that ominous warning. What do you mean? But the girl only shrugged, her eyes glinting with mischief. It's a gamble, but it could change everything. The weight of that statement hung in the air, heavier than the darkness around them. Momentarily paralyzed by dread, Elena felt a pull from both the girl and the box. It was as if something invisible compelled her forward. All right, she decided, let us dig. They got to work, both of their hands clawing at the earth around the doll, the girl giggling intermittently like they were solving a riddle. Yet with each handful of soil they tossed aside, a sick feeling churned in Elena's stomach. Where were the roots? Then it happened. Elena's fingers felt something smooth under the damp earth. She grabbed it, pulling up a small bundle wrapped in a tattered cloth, unlike the trinkets they'd found before. The girl's excitement morphed into an eerie jab of anticipation. That's it. The heart of the magic. She said, licking her lips, eyes wild. As Elena untied the cloth, she felt an immediate hush envelop the park. The world seemed to still. A surge of wind whipped through the trees, rustling the branches ominously. The girl stood silent, her expression a sharp contrast of childlike glee and something far more sinister. Inside the tattered cloth lay a heart throbbing and pulsating. It looked impossibly alive. The doll seemed to tremble in its presence, its smile widening, almost revealing jagged teeth. Elena's pulse quickened as the realization crashed over her. This was not just some toy. Torn between intrigue and terror, she held the heart up, its warmth radiating through her skin. What did I just uncover? It's yours now, the girl said, her voice dropping to a whisper, reverberating with something dark and unyielding. What will you do with it? The question dashed through Elena's mind like lightning, flashing visions of all she'd lost, the loneliness that had become her constant companion. What would she sacrifice? What would it cost? As the shadows began to creep closer, enveloping them, she felt a pull. But was it magic, or was it a trap? What if the wishes turn against me? She asked, desperation edging her tone. Then you'll have to wish harder, the girl replied cheerily, but the glint in her eyes revealed something that struck Elena with primal fear. As the darkness swirled like a thief in the night, Elena's mind raced. Time was running out, and the weight of the heart felt heavier than ever. Was it a gift or a curse? Elena needed to decide now. Either seize the chance for everything she desired, or let the moment slip away forever. What was she truly willing to risk? Panic clawed at Elena's chest. The heart throbbed in her palm, a steady pulse that matched the frantic rhythm of her thought. Shadows twisted around her, curling closer as if drawn by the heartbeat of the object she held. The boyish laughter of the little girl seemed to break the tension, yet it echoed hollowly against the encroaching darkness. Can you feel it? The girl's voice rang with mischief. It wants to be used. It wants you to wish. Elena hesitated, uncertainty clawing at her. But at what cost? She whispered, feeling the weight of her own indecision pulling her down. The girl tilted her head, that innocent face suddenly heavy with something darker, something ancient and knowing. Everything worth having has a price, and sometimes, it's more than you think. The laughter faded into a whisper. Are you willing to gamble? Elena's heart raced. Images of her past swirled in her mind, her family, her dreams, the life she longed to retrieve. But they also came with the sorrow of pain and regret. Would wishing for them back only bring more chaos? I don't know. She glanced around, searching for certainty, but found only the oppressive shadows, stretching and whispering secrets she could not understand. "Make a wish," the girl urged, her voice dripping with excitement. "One wish for one heart. It can be anything. But choose wisely. It's a fragile thing, wishes are." Elena gripped the heart tightly. The warmth coursed through her, stoking a fire of longing. Images flickered in her mind like a projector on fast-forward: the love she missed, the laughter that once filled her home, the hope of a brighter tomorrow. Could it really be as simple as wishing? What if I wish for something I truly want? Her voice trembled, caught between hope and terror. What if I wish for every piece I lost? The little girl's eyes gleamed, excitement dancing within them. "Then it's time to let go of your fear." Elena closed her eyes, the moonlight streaming through the trees casting a silver hue on her face. She pondered, her heart heavy with the decision before her. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the universe itself held its breath. Opening her eyes, she took a deep breath, feeling the magic coil tightly around her. "I wish," she whispered, the words barely escaping her lips. Suddenly, a flash of blinding light erupted from the heart, forcing her to shield her eyes. The laughter turned to frantic giggles, echoing like a heartbeat in the night. The world around her spun wildly, colors blending into chaos. When the light dimmed, Elena blinked against the sudden darkness. She felt different, a shift deep within her. But before she could grasp it, the girl was gone, replaced by a chilling silence. The park felt more isolated than before. "Hello," she called, the sound of her voice swallowed by the looming shadows. Fear coursed through her veins. She looked down, expecting to cradle the pulsating heart still, but her hands were empty. A sinking panic flooded her. "No, no." The wind picked up, howling through the trees, as a low whisper echoed around her. "Do you feel the weight of your wish?" Elena's stomach dropped. What had she done? The shadows loomed larger, pressing in on her, leaving her with an overwhelming sense of dread. The girl's laughter had turned into mocking echoes, reverberating through the trees, taunting her. What if the wish had taken more than she had anticipated? Just then, a dark figure appeared in the distance, moving closer with deliberate intent. Elena's heart raced, caught between fear and curiosity. What was approaching her from the depths of the park? Who, or what, would emerge from the shadows now? Elena knew she had to be ready. The stakes were higher than ever, and this time, she wouldn't be able to turn back. The figure moved slowly, each shadow it cast seeming to stretch and wriggle as if alive. Elena squinted, desperately trying to make out the shape, her pulse quickening with every footfall that echoed through the eerie silence. "Who are you?" she called, her voice trembling yet resonating with a courage she didn't fully feel. The figure paused. A flicker of light illuminated the features of a woman, her face obscured in a dark hood. "You shouldn't have made that wish," the woman said, her voice smooth yet edged with danger. "It binds us all." Elena took a step back, fear tangling with confusion. "Binds us? What do you mean?" The woman took another step forward, darker shadows spilling from her as she approached. "Wishes are not given freely. They come with chains," she warned, her eyes locking onto Elena's. "And they can drag you into darkness if you're not careful." Elena felt that cold grip at her throat again, the sensation of being trapped in her own decision. Her heart raced as small tremors rippled through her body. "But I wished for the things I lost. I wanted them back." The woman chuckled softly, a sound that felt haunting and hollow. "And that is your mistake. What you wish for can change you. But what it takes in return can take more than you ever imagined." Suddenly, the shadows behind the woman surged. Elena gasped as they swarmed like a living tide, twisting into shapes that resembled the faces of those she loved, their expressions contorted with pain, whispers of farewell hanging in the air like a rancid breath. "No!" she screamed, backing away. "I didn't want this. This isn't what I meant." The woman stepped closer, her presence an anchor in the chaos swirling around them. You have opened a door you cannot close. Now it's as if you've invited everyone you lost back, but can you handle what they've become? Elena's heart pounded louder as realization struck. Her wish had meant to bring back joy, but now it felt like a curse. And as the shadows drew nearer, she could feel the weight of her decision crushing down upon her. Stop. Please. Elena cried out, but as her words faded, the shadows surged forward, wrapping around her, cold and suffocating. Just then, the trees creaked ominously, their branches stretching like fingers reaching out to ensnare her. But through the confusion, she heard it again, the little girl's laughter echoing off the trees. It rang sharper now, like a bell tolling to summon lost souls. Wishes are fragile. The girl's voice danced in the air, mocking and playful. But you can break the chains. Elena's breath caught. How? How do I break them? She pleaded to the woman, desperation clawing at her throat. The woman narrowed her eyes, her expression flickering to one of guarded amusement. To break the curse, you must confront the truth of what you lost, and accept what must stay lost. Will you set them free? The shadows tightened, pressing relentlessly against her. Doubt swirled in her mind. Could the truth really set her free? Then she felt it, the heart, pulsing in the distance. It wasn't gone. It was calling to her. With a sudden surge of determination, Elena took a step toward the shadows, her heart aching with the memories. I want to remember, but I want to be their prisoner. The ground trembled, and the wind howled in response. As her resolve solidified, she felt a unifying force push against the darkness, trembling with life, but was it enough? The woman's lips curled into a twisted smile. Let us see if you're brave enough to face what is coming. And just as the shadowy faces began to separate, the ground beneath Elena cracked open, revealing a swirling abyss of light and dark. She gasped as the pull threatened to consume her. Fate had placed her at the edge. Would she leap into the unknown to confront her reality? Or would the darkness drag her down forever? As she teetered, the answer loomed just out of reach, tangled in the depths of the shadows waiting to embrace her. Elena felt the abyss pulling, a maw of uncertainty that seemed to scream for her to take a step closer. Hot dread coursed through her veins. Shadows writhed, faces of the past turning into a nightmarish parade, their eyes swirling with anguish. Do it. The girl's voice rang again, teasing yet haunting. Face what you've lost. Only then can you survive. Her heart twisted as she remembered warmth, laughter, the glow of their smiles. Memories flickered like a broken film reel, mixed with the bitter taste of regret. She took a shaky breath, tasting the metal tang of fear. Could she truly confront the truth, or would it drown her? The ground cracked wider, a chasm that pulsed like a heartbeat, drawing her in. She felt a desperate connection to the shadows. With every fiber of her being, she knew she couldn't let the darkness win. Okay. She shouted, her voice cutting through the chilling whispers. I want to face them. I'm ready. The woman arched an eyebrow, surprise mingling with delight, like a cat anticipating the moment before the pounce. Let us see if you mean it. She stepped into the unknown, feeling the cold tendrils of shadow wrap around her legs, dragging her deeper. Her heart raced, pounding in her ears like a war drum. But a glimmer of hope threaded through the chaos. Each breath she took gave her strength. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted from within her chest, pushing against the darkness. The shadows recoiled, hissing and swirling, as if recoiling from the very essence of her soul. No. The woman shrieked, her voice laced with fury. You mustn't, but it was too late to turn back. The light surged, illuminating the faces around her, revealing their truth. As the memories collided with the reality of their forms, she saw them clearer than ever, their sorrow, their pain, their unfinished stories. Each face told a tale rooted in love. I see you. She screamed, tears streaming down her cheeks. I understand. With that proclamation, the faces began to dissolve, the pain in their eyes shifting into tender looks. Elena, a familiar voice whispered, so soft and delicate. It was her mother's voice, warm and protective. "Mom." Elena sobbed. I thought you were gone. I never left you, my dear. You chose to push me away. But I am always with you, wherever your heart goes." The gentle voice wrapped around her like a soft blanket, the shadows dimmed, fading like fog under the morning sun. Elena felt their chains loosening. All their grief and burden, the very chains the woman spoke of, were unraveling, and with each broken bond, she felt lighter, more alive, but something pulled at the back of her mind. An urgency. "What now?" she asked, her voice shaky but steady. "How do I truly set you free?" The woman knelt, the darkness losing its hold on her as well. "The truth comes at a price," she warned. "It will unearth the pain of the past. Then let it come." Elena shouted defiantly. "I'm ready to face it." With a rush, the world shifted. The air vibrated with energy, and the scenery morphed. Elena stood on the edge of a cliff, overlooking a tempestuous sea. The sound of crashing waves roared in her ears, echoing the turmoil within her. "Your wish is the key," the woman said, rising to her full height, the shadows swirling around her like a tempest. "Unlock it, and you will learn the most painful truth of all." Elena's heart sank. What could be worse than what had already happened? But before she could contemplate further, the ground began to shake again. "Brace yourself." The woman called out, her tone brisk and urgent. "What you discover now could change everything." As the last vestiges of light dimmed, a figure emerged from the depths of the swirling sea, an unmistakable silhouette that sent a shock wave through Elena. "Who is it?" she gasped, her heart pounding against her ribcage. The waters roiled, and a chilling realization swept over her. The figure was someone she thought she'd never see again, both beloved and feared. But this time, would their reunion be one of salvation or damnation? Elena clutched her heart, ready to confront her fate, and as the figure stepped forward, the shadows howled. "Prepare for the truth." The figure emerged more clearly, its features sharpening like a blade slicing through fog. It was her brother, David. The boy she had lost, swept away by a careless accident that left their family shattered, leaving her awash in guilt and unresolved sorrow. His eyes, once vibrant, were now dark and stormy, mirroring the tumultuous sea behind him. David, her whispered name hung in the air, suffocating her with emotion. Part of her longed to rush forward, to embrace him as if they were kids again, running through the fields behind their house. But another part of her stood frozen, the weight of her memories pressing down like the ocean's waves. "Elena," he called softly, the sound both familiar and painfully foreign. "You shouldn't have come here." A chill ran down her spine. How could he say that? She had searched for answers her entire life, desperate for closure. "I had to find you." I thought what?" David interrupted, his voice quaking, slicing through the air like ice. "That you could just forget. That it wouldn't matter." Images flooded her mind, his laughter filling the house, the way he'd protectively shove her out of the way during snowball fights. Then came the memories of that day, the panic, the sirens, the hollow silence that devoured the joy. "I've carried you with me every single day, David. You don't know how hard I've tried to face it." The shadows danced closer, swirling around them, amplifying their pain, their fears suffocating. Elena could feel their whispers, a cacophony of voices urging her to face the truth. "You have to speak it." The woman's voice echoed in her mind, urging her to confront the nightmare she'd blocked out while racing toward the light. The ground shook violently again, this time sending rocks tumbling into the abyss below. The shadows writhed. "You need to acknowledge what you really feel," came the haunting chorus from the darkness. "We can't just pretend it never happened," David shouted back. His once playful demeanor had transformed into anguish, his face twisted with emotions she had never thought possible. "You buried me along with your guilt." His words struck like thunder, causing her to stumble backward. She pressed a hand to her chest, feeling the raw ache of recognition. It was true. She had buried her sorrow, along with the memories of who he had been, afraid to confront the grief that clawed at her insides. Elena breathed sharply, realizing the toll her avoidance had taken. I need to understand, I need to forgive myself. David's eyes softened, and for a fleeting moment, she saw the boy he once was. Then let it out, Elena. Let the truth rise. Do it for me, because I need you to set us both free. Why did you leave me? She managed to choke out, tears welling in her eyes. A wave crashed violently against the rocks below, as if the sea were echoing her anguish. The shadows lunged at her, growing thicker, almost accusing. Because you were scared, David replied softly, his voice laced with compassion that pierced through the storm. You thought if you just ran away, it wouldn't hurt anymore. The very ground beneath her trembled, and she could feel the abyss behind her threatening to swallow her whole. I've spent years locked in this pain, she cried, the truth spilling out unchecked. I thought if I let go, I wouldn't be able to love you anymore. But I do love you, David. I always will. The world around her shifted, wind whipped through her hair like transient memories unfurling. The shadows recoiled, and in that moment of honesty, something shifted deep within her. Elena. David's voice rang out like a lifeline. You have to choose. Face the truth or let your fear tie you to this nightmare. Suddenly, a crack of brilliant light emerged from the depths, illuminating both the sea and the cliffs that rose steeply before her. For a heartbeat, it felt like everything hung in balance. But as the darkness pressed in, she knew she had to decide. Will I choose to let it go? She mumbled to herself. And in that moment of truth, a realization ignited within her, David, I'm ready. Whatever it takes, I'll set you free. At that instant, she felt the shadows surge forward. What awaited her in the light? Could she truly face the reality she had avoided for so long? Would her answer unleash a wave of liberation or another tide of heartbreak? Time hung heavily as everything shifted again, leaving Elena teetering on the edge of salvation and despair. Elena felt a pull towards the blinding light, a magnetic force that promised freedom yet felt ominously unfamiliar. It was warm, inviting, almost like an embrace from someone she had lost long ago. But as she hesitated at the precipice, the shadows shrieked, wrapping around her ankles like the cold fingers of regret. Don't be afraid. David urged. You can do this, Elena. Trust yourself. Her heart raced, each beat echoing the tempest outside, the waves crashing furiously against the jagged rocks below, as if they were warning her away from the truth she had buried for so long. What if it's too late? She shouted, panic spilling out in frantic gasps. It's never too late. He yelled back, his voice now woven with desperation. The shadows curled around him, trying to drag him back like the weight of her guilt had done for years. With another glance at his anguished face, a flicker of determination ignited inside her. Maybe this was her chance to finally find peace. She took a deep breath, gathering every ounce of courage she could muster. I'm sorry, David. I've been so lost I didn't know how to confront my pain. Suddenly, the ground trembled like an angry beast, as if protesting her words. The shadows morphed, rising toward her like a tidal wave of despair, but in her heart, she felt the warmth of the light beckoning her closer. It was time for the truth to erupt, to conquer the fears that had paralyzed her. Face it. David shouted, his eyes pleading. Everything you've buried will rise with you. It may hurt, but you must honor me. Honor your pain. With resolve, she stepped closer to the light, her body trembling. The shadows recoiled, screeching in an unsettling harmony that echoed Elena's deepest fears. As she immersed herself in the glow, scenes flashed before her eyes: the beach day, the smiles, the laughter, but twisting into the horror she had clung to. No, no, no. She cried, stumbling back as memories of that fateful day rushed forth. The screeching tires, the anguished cries. She fought against the emotions threatening to consume her, yet they were now part of the radiant light glowing before her. Let it go. David's voice cut through the chaos, sharp as a knife. You'll carry me in your heart, but you need to set me free. Elena felt her chest tighten. The weight of guilt pressed heavily, but she had held onto it for so long as if it were a lifeline. The screams of the shadows blended into her thoughts, clawing at her mind. You don't deserve to be happy. You could have saved him. Enough. She screamed, her voice echoing through the chaos. I need to forgive myself for being human. The moment her declaration cut through the din, the world around her began to shift again. The shadows retreated, howling in rage, while the light expanded, embracing her in its soothing warmth. What is happening? She gasped, struggling against the current of swirling emotions. Keep moving forward, Elena. You're breaking the chains. David encouraged, his voice becoming clearer and more vibrant as the shadows dispersed. With every step into the light, memories of her brother's laughter mingled with her tears, creating a bittersweet symphony that resonated in her heart. Yet just as she felt the chains of grief begin to shatter, a chilling voice whispered from the abyss, but what if he never wanted to be found? Elena halted, dread flooding her. She turned slowly, uncertainty chilling her bones. The shadows began to coalesce, forming into something unpredictable, something she feared could tear apart the fragile progress she'd made. Who are you? She demanded, her voice quavering under the weight of terror. Your doubts, your fears, your very past, Elena, the voice echoed, twisted and sinister. You haven't faced the whole truth yet. The light dimmed slightly, and the plunge back into darkness felt imminent. What truth was left to confront? Would her past swallow her whole, or was she truly ready to heal? Her heart raced uncontrollably, caught between more revelations and the desperate desire to break free. The shadows closed in, and the space around her tightened, every breath heavier with dread. Could she battle her inner demons for good? The moment of reckoning held her captive, but she knew one thing, she couldn't turn back now. Elena stood frozen, each beat of her heart drowning under the weight of the chilling voice that slithered around her. The shadows darkened, swirling like a storm, taunting her with every painful memory she had fought to escape. What do you want from me? She screamed, the sound barely rising above the howling shadows that pressed in on all sides. David's face flickered in and out of focus, worry etched into his features. Face your past, Elena. He urged, but the words seemed to lose their grip. Instead, the voice from the shadows grew stronger, wrapping around her like a serpent. You still think you can be free? How can you move forward when you're still trapped in the wreckage of your mistakes? Images surged through her mind, the accident, her brother's laughter, and the heart-wrenching silence that followed. The very moments that had once filled her with warmth now clawed at her insides, threatening to choke her breath. I can't do this. She gasped, her voice breaking. Yes, you can, David reassured, his presence bolstering her. You just need to remember the truth. Truth? She echoed, her spirit flickering. What truth? That I lost him. The shadows seemed to dance in approval, taunting her, whispering foul accusations into her ears. They knew her secrets, her frayed edges. They were the embodiment of her doubts and fears, rising like demons from the deep. Know your darkness. They hissed. You turned away when he needed you the most. And now you dare to step into the light. Stop. She pleaded, gripping her temples as if she could block it out. I didn't turn away. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. Fear doesn't absolve guilt, the voice countered cruelly, faux sympathy lacing its words. Your fear cost him everything, and now you'll pay the price. Elena's knees buckled. She fell, her hands scraping against the cold, hard surface of despair. There were shadows everywhere, swirling around her like smoke, suffocating her resolve. I wanted to save him, I wanted to. Then why didn't you? The question hung in the air, heavy and accusing. The shadows roared in laughter, a sound that echoed her terror. It was true. Every moment she hesitated, every choice she made it led her here, to this moment of reckoning. No. No. She pounded her fists against the ground, attempting to claw her way from the depths of the tormenting darkness. I can't carry this anymore. I need to let it go. With a mighty roar of defiance, she pressed her palms against the earth, forcing her way up. David believed in me. He can't be gone forever. The light flickered brightly before her, like a beacon in the dark, urging her to rise again. As she struggled up, she understood that denying her pain only gave more power to the shadows. She had to embrace it fully. I forgive myself. She shouted, the words a declaration that shook through the chaos. I forgive myself for being human. But her voice was met with a deafening silence, broken only by the faintest whisper of doubt. Are you sure she can handle it, David? What if she can't bear the truth? A vision caught her off balance, a fractured image of her brother. His smile, once bright, was undermined by an expression that filled her with dread. What if he wanted to be lost? Don't listen. David shouted, desperation streaking his voice. You know he wouldn't want you suffocated in your guilt. Elena stepped forward, fueled by a surge of power she didn't know she possessed. No. I will not let this consume me. I will face whatever comes. Yet the shadows erupted, writhing and screaming in violent outrage, reality shifting around her. Just then, a crack in the darkness split open. Elena felt a pull, as if the very fabric of her existence was about to unravel. The ground quaked violently beneath her. What truth lay beneath the chaos? And would she emerge unscathed? The question loomed as the light fought back against the shadows, each moment hanging on the edge of her fragile grasp. What lay ahead could change everything. Elena stood at the edge of the chasm, shadows swirling around her, a tempest of rage and sorrow. Her heart hammered in her chest, but she gathered strength, tightening her fists around the pain that had long imprisoned her. The darkness had been a cruel companion, whispering lies that wrapped around her like chains. Face your truth. David's voice surged across the silence like a lighthouse guiding her home. The weight of his absence pressed hard against her, but he was here now, urging her on. I won't run anymore. She shouted, the words a rallying cry against the shadows. I've spent too long hiding. The ground trembled beneath her resolve, as if the universe acknowledged her courage. With determination burning in her chest, she stepped closer to the light, allowing the warmth to dissolve the cold grasp of regret that had seeped into her bones. Memories flowed around her, a mixture of joy and sorrow, but instead of recoiling, she embraced each one. I remember, she whispered, tears spilling over as images of David's laughter and her mother's embrace filled her heart. Good, David said, warmth radiating off him. Now remember your love for us. It's what will set you free. The shadows screeched, flailing in rage as they recoiled from her conviction. Yet, a part of their power still clawed at her mind, forcing her to question if she truly deserved this freedom. What if I forget them? You won't, David reassured. Your love and our memories will always be with you. Just as they V-shaped you, now let them heal you. Elena inhaled deeply, the air filling her lungs as she drew strength from the light surrounding her. Again, she faced the shadows, her voice strong, resonating with conviction. I choose to love and remember, no matter the pain. A violent howl erupted as the shadows surged forward, but this time, something shifted in them. The darkness that had once felt like shackles started to ebb away, revealing an undercurrent of tangled emotions: pain, love, guilt, and ultimately, release. The chains that bound the shadows began to fray, one by one, unyoking Elena's heart from the weight she had carried. She could feel the bitterness dissolve, transforming the darkness into mere echoes of the past. I forgive myself, she declared, louder than ever, her heart swelling with newfound courage. I forgive for the moments I couldn't save you. With those words, the shadows recoiled as if struck, the air trembling with the shattering of chains. David's face illuminated her, a brilliant smile washing over him and dispelling the lingering shadows. "You did it, Elena. You're freeing us." In a blink, the darkness pulled away, sucked into the abyss. As the shadows receded, the world brightened around her, a blinding light enveloping everything like a comforting embrace. She felt weightless, liberated from the storm that had clouded her heart. The silhouettes of loved ones materialized, each now laced with brilliant warmth, their faces filled with love and acceptance. "You've done it, dear sister," David spoke, his features clearer than ever. Elena's breath hitched. "But what about you? Are you truly gone?" David shook his head, his smile radiant. "I'm with you. Always. In every beat of your heart." With one final shift, the world exploded in colors: heartfelt joy, love, and the gentle touch of those she thought lost. They embraced her, wrapping her in warmth, sharing their whispers of pride and understanding. The bittersweet pangs of grief melted away, leaving behind only the sweet essence of love. "I understand now. I see you, and I won't let grief define me," she called, feeling the stunning truth pulse through her veins, waking her spirit anew. "Hold on to that, love," David whispered softly, just before the light frayed at the edges, inviting her home. As the brilliant glow enveloped her, Elena felt the tug of the universe beneath her feet, guiding her toward a new beginning, towards a place where pain transformed into compassion, and loneliness fell away like the last remnants of night. When the light subsided, she stood back in the park under the old oak tree, its branches now sheltering her in the calm night. It felt peaceful, healing. And as she looked around, she realized she was no longer alone. She was surrounded by a world waiting to be embraced. The little girl appeared beside her, beaming with delight. "You did it. You found the magic." Elena smiled, her heart dancing with gratitude. "Thank you for leading me here. I couldn't have done it without you." The girl buzzed with joy but grew somber for the first time. "But this magic isn't just for you. Share it, love, remember." With that, she giggled and skipped away, her laughter echoing in the night. Elena stood there a moment longer, letting the night air ruffle her hair. She was alive, unshackled, filled with hope. Each spark of connection was a seed waiting to bloom. "I will," she whispered, a vow to herself and to those she loved. She returned home, taking each step forward with every ounce of strength she had new. This was her moment, a life waiting to be lived fully, love to be shared, connections to flourish. No more chains. Just a bright, glowing path stretching infinitely before her. And just as vital, those precious faces never left her heart. Now, you need to keep this journey alive. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you never miss exclusive stories like this. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, show your love and support. And don't forget, flood the comments section with your reactions and theories. I want to hear from you. Instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need this message of hope and renewal. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second, join the journey.